Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So a pretty fun topic today on Keek on the Mic, as a report out of Chicago is this. Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bears are embracing Bears alumni. So not a lot of you guys know this, but new Bears head coach Matt Eberflus has made it his mission to reach out to as many legends of the organization as possible, introducing himself and inviting these legends to Halas Hall whenever they like. And while talking to Albert Breer of the MMQB, Eberflus explained the purpose of embracing all of these Bears legends. The coach spent time reaching out to more than 30 alumni after being hired to try to involve them, and that work is already bringing results. Legends of the '85 Bears Richard Dent and Gary Finsick spoke with the team in the spring. 2000's icon Peanut Tillman addressed the rookies at their first meeting in the facility, and the idea here is that all of it will have more than just sentimental value. Those guys, they laid the foundation for how to play, how the Bears should play, Eberflus told me Friday, and we're embracing that. Guys, to me personally, that is actually really cool, and it's really cool that Eberflus has so much passion about bringing Chicago Bears legends back into the organization. It's something that's been kind of developing ever since he took over as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of you guys and a lot of people around the national media may ask, why does this matter? Why is Eberflus so passionate about trying to bring all these Bears legends back into Halas Hall? And the one thing I want to say is it matters because over the past decade, it's really felt like the past Chicago Bears regimens have been trying to kind of distance themselves from the Chicago Bears legends, which for some people be like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. But to some other guys like Matt Eberflus, he thinks that, no, that's not right. These legends should be able to come back and come back into Halas Hall and talk to current Chicago Bears players within the organizations. But overall, bringing these legends back into Halas Hall and talking to our current Bears players can actually be a valuable tool for the organization. For example, some of the players that Eberflus has already brought in, like Richard Dent and Charles Tillman, have had great success in their careers. Obviously, you kind of heard what Matt Eberflus had to say. They laid the foundation of what Chicago Bears football is supposed to be and how it's supposed to be played. But what I want you guys to realize, the point of Matt Eberflus bringing these Chicago Bears legends back to Chicago, the point I want you guys to realize here is that it wasn't just that they understood how to win. These guys like Charles Tillman and Richard Dent, they understood how to win, right? But it was more than they understood how to win in Chicago. And that's why bringing these certain guys in is very, very valuable and is something that previous regiments kind of overlooked. And as we all know, winning in Chicago can be very tough. It isn't an easy thing to accomplish, and it kind of takes a special mental fortitude to get things done. Charles Tillman did it right. He played with some really, really good Bears teams. Obviously, Richard Dent was part of that 1985 Super Bowl Chicago Bears team, obviously. So they knew what it took to win in Chicago. And, you know, obviously, us fans, Chicago Bears fans are tough. We expect a very physical and violent playing style overlapped by intelligence. And once again, Richard Dent, Charles Tillman, all those guys, you can even go on Brian Urlacher, all those guys had that ability. They knew what it took to be a Chicago Bear and what it meant to play the style of play that the Chicago Bears are expecting from their players. And that's how Bears teams have usually won in the past. Going back to talking about how us fans expect a physical and violent style of play, right? Overlapped by intelligence. That's how Bears teams in the past have won, right? That's the teams in 06, right? The 1985 Bears. That's how those Bears teams were were pretty dominant, right? And that is the style of play that Eberflus is trying to get back to. Obviously, we understand that this is a new day of age in the NFL. We totally understand that. It's all about the QB. It's all about the offense. But Matt Eberflus is also a defensive guy. So, of course, he cherishes the rich history of that nasty, violent style of the Chicago Bears defense, right? And he's trying to get back to that. And he thinks that there's still opportunity that this Chicago Bears team can still win that way as well, right? Obviously, we need to make sure our offense is getting up to par as well. But he's also trying to get that defense back to that physical, violent nature. Not only the defense, but the entire team as well. And that's why bringing in guys like Charles Tillman, Richard Dent, obviously there's going to be more guys coming in. For example, ex-coaches too, like Rod Marinelli. They understand how to get to that point. So for some of you guys, it may mean nothing to you. It may be pointless. But when you really break it down, it's really nice to see Matt Eberflus bringing these guys in and allowing them to talk to these current Bears players. Because I truly think it will make a difference. These guys can explain what it takes to be a winner in Chicago, right? Because it does take a special player. Because once again, Chicago is a very tough place to play. There's a certain expectation. Obviously, the Bears have been down and out for a very long time. And maybe this is Matt Eberflus's way of not only trying to involve the legends once again within Halas Hall, which is long overdue, but also get these current Bears players pumped up as well. Will it result to success on the field? That remains to be seen. But I definitely know that if I was a player within the Chicago Bears organization, that would really pump me up. Seeing Richard Dent, seeing Charles Tillman, seeing Rod Marinelli, and seeing all the other Bears legends that are going to continue to come probably during training camp and talk to these guys, that would definitely get me motivated for this season and for my future as a Chicago Bear. So personally, I love what Matt Eberflus is trying to do, and it makes a whole lot of sense to bring these guys back. And it's really, really nice that the Chicago Bears are finally opening up the doors to these Chicago Bears legends, because once again, it was long overdue. Because like I just mentioned earlier in the podcast, past regiments kind of said, you know what, we're closing the doors. We're not inviting any Chicago Bears legends to talk to our current players, which to me made no sense. But once again, it may not make a lot of sense to you guys in the moment, but I think it's really cool that Matt Eberflus is very passionate about bringing these Chicago Bears legends back into Halas Hall and talking to his Chicago Bears football team. So overall, absolutely love what Eberflus is doing. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Do you guys like what Matt Eberflus is doing? Do you like that he's bringing back these Chicago Bears legends to talk to the current Chicago Bears players on this football team? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.